DMV Download, the new daily podcast from WTOP News, is out now. Hosts Megan Clorty and Luke Garrett get the story behind the story.
Every weekday afternoon, Megan and I will go beyond the headlines with WTOP reporters and sources to bring you more on the biggest local stories impacting you, our fellow Washingtonians.
The DMV Download podcast is available now on all major podcast platforms. Subscribe today so you don't miss an episode. The DMV Download podcast is presented by Steamfitters Local 602.
Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. The Gloria Estefan musical On Your Feet is playing at the GALA Hispanic Theatre in Washington, D.C. now through June 5th. So we're presenting 3 of my conversations with Estefan on red carpets in Washington, D.C. I first spoke to Estefan when she honored Tony Bennett with the Library of Congress's Gershwin Prize in 2017.
Just the fact that we are lucky enough to do music, to be in the world, putting beautiful things out into, the universe, and having people listen to what we say or do through music, and it's a beautiful way to live. I agree with Mr. Bennett. We can't complain about anything. It's a wonderful thing. My music was an escape from politics. My dad went to Bay of Pigs, was a political prisoner, then he was in Vietnam. So music for me has been a way to get away from the difficulties and the tough things in life, and it continues to be that. All of us that are receiving this award, it is such an honor, and you spend decades, doing things that hopefully one day garner you that kind of prize. So for everyone, I think everyone's relieved to take it away from the political, because it's really a tough melding. We're up there doing our music, doing whatever it is that we've done to earn that honor. And when anything overshadows it, it's not cute for the people getting the prize. So we're happy that it's just going to be the awards, and that's it, case closed.
Tonight you get up and perform for Tony, but next month you get to sit back and relax and let other people perform for you. Is it going to be nice to be able to just kick your feet up next time?
It's going to be amazing, and usually I don't like surprises, and it's all a surprise. So I'm just trying not to think about it. I'm just going to enjoy every moment and really feel blessed and lucky to be considered among the people that have received this amazing award, and in our nation's capital. It's really, for an immigrant, it's extra special, I have to tell you, and to have had the life we've had in this beautiful country. I'm not a fan of the Castros, so that part of me likes when you have a hard line, but I don't like to have a hard line with the Cuban people, and I think they need to have people-to-people contact and have as much opening for them as is possible without acquiescing or, helping the Cuban government, because unfortunately, I don't think there's much to change there until the Castros are out. And I just hope that for the Cuban people, I pray that they join the world, because they're locked in a time warp there, and it's really tough for them. So I was happy with the more travel and, more ability for them to meet people from all over the world. And I hope that happens again, because they need that.
I next spoke to Estefan a few months later when she was honored herself at the 2017 Kennedy Center Honors. I just saw you at the Gershwin Awards.
Oh, that's right.
Goosebumps with Stevie Wonder. But what's it going to be like compared to that, to be able to sit back and soak it in this time for a change?
You know what? They haven't told me a thing. I don't know what's going on, which is tough because I don't like surprises. I like to know what's going on. But it's beautiful because I'm going to lay back and relax and enjoy. I have a lot of tissue because I know I'm going to cry. I just hope I don't ugly cry, because will ruin my makeup and get all over my medal. Yeah. But I know it's going to be an emotional night. And we have a real camaraderie with this class of 5 people, the class of 2017 for the Kennedy Center. We're thrilled that it's the 40th year celebrating this amazing award. And we're beyond honored and blessed to be here in that company.
Absolutely. And it is the holiday season, and you were the one that urged us to see Christmas through your eyes. But talk about, not just for the holidays, but all the time. It's such, adults are taught to hate, and it's a politically divided time. But talk about why that message of the innocence of youth and the clean slate is so needed right now.
Well, I wrote that song for my son when he was still a kid. And the thing is that every year, and now with our grandson, we feel it, adults live the magic of Christmas belief, when you still believe in magic, when you believe in, so many beautiful things. And as you get older, you become a part of the world. So that song is really a celebration of not losing that magic, because I firmly believe that thoughts create reality, and we could create our reality and we could create our future, and we're doing it collectively. So that's what it was about. Like, let's not forget to not lose the magic in our lives.
What's the key to a great cover? Because the Vicki Sue Robinson turned the beat around.
Yes.
Yours is right up there and probably better, my more favorite. But what's the key to actually taking something like that and redoing it?
That's a daunting task, and I loved Vicki Sue Robinson. I actually got to meet her 2 weeks before she passed, and she had done a spectacular job with that. So I was very pregnant with my daughter and very inspired, and it was actually Emily's favorite song, because when I was recording, every time I would sing it, she was rolling around in there. Look, she came out, she's a drummer. We focused on the percussion and on trying to do something fresh and really taking it with the energy that was prevalent at the time, in that time. And just try to do your own version. And, I love hers as well. I'm just happy. A lot of people never heard hers, because now there's so many young people that only heard my version. Yeah. So that's a beautiful thing.
Well, we were all turning earlier on the red carpet to conga, so there you go.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Enjoy tonight.
Thank you. I will. I do very much appreciate it more. I appreciate the freedoms that this country affords us, because we lost our country. I know how precarious freedom can be. And when you've had something for a long time, you tend to sit back on your laurels and think nothing can ever change that. And, this country and the amazing thing that was created by the founding fathers is an ever-breathing, ever-changing thing. And they were so brilliant because they did create a constitution that allowed for changes and growth. And I think we have to use that spirit in everything, whether we're talking about legislation for guns, or whether we're talking about protecting the freedoms of every citizen or respecting our differences that are what make this country great. I think it's important to move forward and to not sit back and sit on the laurels. They thought ahead, but it's up to us to keep it alive and to make sure it continues to work. Every time there's an election, immigration comes up. I'm old enough to see that have happened for many. And then the election happens and it dies down and nothing gets done, because it's daunting to get anything done, as we know. It's tough. It's a good thing, because if we're able to whip things quickly through, that would be dangerous for the country. So it's a double-edged sword on how difficult it is to change things in the country. But I think that it's a wonderful example for immigrants to see the positive contributions that people like I have made, like the amazing Rita Moreno that toasted me last night, and that this country was built by immigrants. Unless you're a Native American, you're from somewhere else, somewhere down the road or back in time. And that's what makes this country great and what is our strength, because the more different cultures that are woven together, the stronger the fiber. And this country I admire very much, and I respect the freedoms that it affords us, and I don't take them for granted.
Stay tuned for my third conversation with Gloria Estefan, but first a message from a fellow WTOP podcast.
DMV Download, the new daily podcast from WTOP News, is out now. Hosts Megan Clorty and Luke Garrett get the story behind the story.
Every weekday afternoon, Megan and I will go beyond the headlines with WTOP reporters and sources to bring you more on the biggest local stories impacting you, our fellow Washingtonians.
The DMV Download podcast is available now on all major podcast platforms. Subscribe today so you don't miss an episode. The DMV Download podcast is presented by Steamfitters Local 602.
Welcome back to Beyond the Fame for my chat with Gloria and Emilio Estefan at the 2019 Gershwin Prize at DAR Constitution Hall.
As Cuban Americans, especially, I wish our parents were here to see this, but for my mom it was incredibly important to maintain our culture alive. In me, the same we've done with our children and now with our grandson, who's also Italian. So we try to keep all the cultures that make up who they are alive in them, so that they have a deep knowledge of where they come from, because I think that it just is richer. It enriches your life when you know who you are, and that's what we try to keep alive.
I also spoke with their daughter, Emily Estefan, who paid tribute to her parents.
I enjoyed the rendition of Reach at the Kennedy Center Honors. How cool was it, singing, for moms up there that night, and what do you got in store tonight?
It's nerve-wracking, I will tell you that, and taking on one of her songs is even tougher. But again, I try to put that to the side and just celebrate her. And honestly, I could whistle, and she's my biggest fan, so it's not hard to impress her.
Latin recording legend Jose Feliciano also showed up to pay tribute.
Bueno, los Estefans son muy amigos míos. Emilio, yo lo conocí en Miami y Emilio siempre ha sido buena gente, Gloria también. Así que para mí es un orgullo compartir este honor con ellos. And I'd like to say in English, for those of you who don't speak Spanish, I am happy to share this event with the Estefans since they're such good friends of mine. Well, I think they've left an indelible mark. I think it's a human thing. Romance isn't barriered by language. Everybody feels romance. Everybody can feel a good song, whether it's in Spanish or in English. And if the song is romantic, they'll feel it in any language. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Finally, I spoke with actor Andy Garcia, who hosted the Estefan tribute.
All I can tell you is Cuban music has been probably one of the most influential cultures in their music has spread. It's inherent in music all around the world, from its influences in American jazz to the clave in American rock and roll. I mean, there are things that the Cuban music has done that many people don't even know about. To be honored as a composer, a songwriter by a Gershwin Award, it's like winning the Super Bowl. You know, there's no higher singer-songwriter that you could be associated with in the Gershwins. You know. So I'm very honored to be here to support my friends, Gloria and Emilio, and enjoy the experience for them. I'm going to host a show with Rita Moreno, who I admire tremendously. I'm going to sit in on a tune and have a little fun.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the D.C. area is great, and Podcast D.C. gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast D.C. is the new local app with hundreds of D.C. area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast D.C.